Andrew, always pleasure to catch up with you, and I know you're particularly busy at the moment. It's the run-in almost from Christmas onwards. You're into the final stretch now, so things amp up. But I guess this is what you're in the game for. It's an exciting time of year.
Yeah, this is like you said, why we play the game, why we work in this game, and we've done is put ourselves in a position really, and that's what you're trying to do the first half, and fortunately we've been able to do that, and now it gets real fun. Big game after big game, the next couple weeks in particular are very, very important for our organization.
It's very much a British thing we've talked about before, the league title being the huge title in this country. So you're looking at the league tables. Is it weird when you're sort of marking points on the board against games in hand? Is it a strange concept to get your head around, talk to the players about, and would you rather have the points on the board?
I'm just looking at the next game, and I know I've said that to you now for years, but I couldn't tell you the exact amount of points we're, I guess behind by, and how many exact. I have a general idea. I look at it, maybe every 2 weeks, but it's so early, and really I'm just focused on Sheffield Saturday night. That's about all you can do, and really, it's as simple as that. I mean, it's hard to do that, but it is a simple formula, and I think it's the best one you can do with this, long playoff format, being the league title.
Let's do a bit of housekeeping early, particularly Martin and Myers. How is the captain? How is the testimonial guy? Any sort of time frame on when they might be back on the ice?
Yeah, they're good. They're coming along. We'll see.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that and move on. You talk about Sheffield coming in this weekend. Always a huge game anyway, but begrudgingly, it's good to see the Steelers back challenging the top of the table. It's going to be a special night on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know about that with them being back at the top of the table, but no, they're obviously a great franchise. They've been for years, and we've had countless battles with them now. It feels like a decade. I guess it's been about. This is the 6th season, but they've had a resurgence here. Great team speed, great scoring depth. I mean, pretty much anyone in their lineup can contribute offensively. Their goaltender seems very hot right now, and they're on a bit of a run, so it should be a great game. They always are, and these are the type of games you want to be involved with, and I know the building will be rocking and then some.
I'm not asking for the full pre-scout, but when you're facing a team which comes in with a reputation of being a high-octane, high-offensive team, does it change the mindset at all? How you potentially can pick them off on the transition at all? Is it a different sort of scouting mentality looking at a team like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think you obviously look at team tendencies within the structure and whatnot, but there's things that we look to do to give us our best chance of winning. But at the end of the day, it really, I think the majority of it is about how we need to play, and that doesn't change all that much, in short spans. I think maybe more if things aren't working, then we'll go and have more of a bit of an overhaul, which we had a little while ago, and it seemed to help us. But no, I think, most of our game plan is similar with some tweaks.
We've talked about consistency a lot, and I know you're always striving for better, but even with dropping a couple of games like the game in Manchester and what have you, it seems to me that since maybe the start of December, that consistency level has gone to a higher place. Are you reasonably happy with what you're seeing out right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a great stretch. I think there's a little bit of a fatigue, lull, whatever you want to call it, probably different for each player, but whatever it was, we hit it, before this previous weekend there for a good week. It was sloppy, it was a bit slow, a bit tentative, but aside from that, I think, there was a good stretch of 5 weeks there where we were really humming, clicking, and I think you saw it again this past weekend. We're hard to play against when we play, to our strengths, and we have everyone on board playing the right way, and I think it's effective, and it's going to be interesting to see Saturday. We haven't played these guys in a while. Both teams seem to be kind of firing all cylinders right now.
Talking about that consistency, and it continues to be a great stretch for the Devils. You seem to have found chemistry on your lines. You've kept them the same, so much so that when Blair Riley was out over Christmas, Bryce Reddick did a good job and moved up to that top line. Haddad, Dixon, and Longley seem to have some great chemistry. Are you happy you've got a kind of a settled pattern at the moment?
Yeah, I mean it helps. It helps a lot. I mean it's a time saver when you don't have to formulate plans every night on trying to get offense going or trying to get some chemistry going. Obviously, the injuries have been kind of pretty steady throughout the season here, particularly front-loaded there. We had a nice spell for about a month where it left us alone, which was nice, knock on wood. Hopefully we get back to that. I'm not a huge fan of juggling lines unless you need to, and I think earlier in the year we needed to, injury dependent. Also, just not creating enough offense. But as I said, the consistency's been there. It's been a good stretch, and when that's the case, you keep rolling. And I think we got some good lines, and guys are feeling confident right now.
I mentioned Bryce Reddick, who's been a great team guy recently. A couple of other guys I just wanted to ask you about, because I'm always a big fan of players who maybe get written off a little bit or maybe have to come back from a downtime. I just want to ask you about Joey Haddad and Matt Pope, because both of them, respectively, for different reasons, had perhaps difficult seasons last year. And this year, Joey Haddad setting the league alight, and I don't think anyone can stop that one-timer on the power play. Matt Pope's putting up points again, but also as a team guy, he's been playing centre on maybe a third line that's been a bit scratched together over the last couple of weeks. Those are two guys who are having real bounce-back seasons.
Yeah, can't believe we didn't fire them. But what can you say? Obviously, last year, unfortunate seasons for both of them. Joe Haddad with some injury trouble last season, and he put the work in this offseason. He's come back stronger than ever, and he's just a complete player now. I mean, the production's great. I love the goal scoring. I love the backside and the power play there. That's all great, but it's everything else. It's the way he controls the puck, how he plays defensively, his commitment to do all the little things that go unnoticed, his leadership. I mean, he's matured beyond his years. Just kind of like our group. Mm-hmm. He's developed with our group, and now he's a forefront leader, and he's helping other guys out, and he's pushing us in practice, and all those things are huge. And Poper's come around big time. He had that great 2 seasons ago. Last year was obviously a bit of a lull overall, and then this year it's been much more consistent. Obviously the production's come back around for the most part. And he deeply cares about the organization. He brings a lot of different things. I think his defensive game's solid. I think it's improved dramatically if you look at where he was a few years ago to where he is now. I definitely feel more confident with him defensively, late game situations, things like that. And even to the point where he's helped us out a little bit down the middle, which in this league with how good it is now says a lot, because it's hard to just hop in, especially at center ice. I mean, I think it's the hardest position to play. And yeah, I mean he's done a job, and it's been great having both those guys firing. I think they've really helped us.
Just to follow up on Haddad and where you say he's maybe maturing with age. He's always been one of the best, if not the best, puck protector in the league. Is he making better decisions now when to give it off?
Yeah, absolutely. He's reading the game more. I mean, before, he had the blinders on a little bit at times. I'm sure he'd agree. And now he knows. He reads the defensive structures way better. He knows when to dish it off and when to hold it. And that's an experience thing for sure. And also just being a student of the game. He loves the game. He's getting better every day. He treats it like he's a 19-year-old trying to get a call up to the NHL, and it's fun. I love being around that. It's really a big piece of the puzzle here.
Seems like I'm just throwing players' names at you, but the other thing I wanted to talk about, and I know you've talked about this with Gaz and what have you, that Morrison-Jardine combination. A couple of years ago when Tyson Strachan came in, I didn't think you'd ever take Andrew Hotham off the ice, but sometimes for some shutdown minutes, you would go with Strachan and Richardson as a shutdown pair. You seem to have a real nice shutdown pair there in Jardine and Morrison.
Yeah, it's been great. I think, obviously Mo coming in was a big find for us. It happened at a good time, and I think it also, there was a lot of other factors that have contributed to kind of our, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it a turnaround, but more consistency the last, 6 to 8 weeks. But he's been stable. His game's gotten much better as well. The first couple weeks, obviously, without having played for a long time, it took him a little bit of time to get up to speed. He's there now. He's even contributing a little bit offensively, but he's just making the simple read, the smart play. Really good, fun guy. I think he's kind of had his career rejuvenated here. It seems like he's just coming to the rink and loving life and being one of the boys, and you can see it in his game. And then, Jardine, I think he had some, growing pains when he first came over, which we expected, small ice to big ice, different structure that he's used to playing, the league title being the big trophy, all these things, being away from North America, it's a huge adjustment. And now it's settled in, and right when he was kind of figuring it out, that's when Mo came on board, and they feed off each other. They have a great pairing. They enjoy playing with each other. I think they can both do a little bit of everything, and they've complemented us well, and then I think they've both also really helped on the penalty kill there too. I know they're on different pairings, but yeah, it's been good, and I like our decor.
Moving on to other matters, I've asked Sam Duggan and Nevin Mosey about Pride weekend coming up, and that's a huge thing for the league and something that I know you and everyone supports. I'm going to change tack a little bit and ask about the guy whose merchandise you're wearing right now. We've got some Matthew Myers testimonial events coming up, and I guess I want to ask you about him as a guy around the locker room, as a leader, and as a player, just how valuable he is and what he brings to the ice.
Yeah, I think he's improved a lot the last couple of years, or he's putting it all together this season in particular. I think he's flying. I think he really is. He's moving his feet great. All the other stuff, the face-offs, the penalty kill, getting to the net front. And I mean, that line when he's been back with Batchy and Dougie, they've really they've really helped us when other guys' offense have dried up at times. They've contributed not only that way, but through the energy way. And yeah, I mean, it's been fun working with Mizey these years, and we're different in some of our beliefs and how we kind of go about the game, but I think we have a common ground and we understand, and I think it's a nice mix for our room, what each of us brings, and he's obviously a big piece. I mean, I don't think anyone's won more than him, and he loves the big games. He just eats the big games up, and I'm looking forward to seeing him down the stretch, and then also into GB, obviously.
So get your testimonial tickets.
Yeah, get them, support him. I mean, it's been a long time coming. That's pretty cool how long he's been here. I think he deserves it.
As we're on the British players, and you can't pick everybody, and Pete Russell is doing a great job with GB. Proud to see the likes of Bounds and Batchy going, and Mark Richardson, Myers, etc. Sam Duggan's got to be right on the cusp, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got to be close. Yeah, obviously would have loved to see Dougie be there. He's put his work in and then some. He's a student of the game. He just loves hockey. I know we've said that about a few guys, but him in particular. And, the way he's developed in the last year and a half is phenomenal. I know his ice has gone up a little bit. Would I like it to go up more? Absolutely. It's a tough one when it's a league title, again, for development. But he's growing as a player, as a guy. I see him being a huge piece of this organization in the future, and then some, wherever the game takes him. But I'm sure he'll be with GB soon enough.
Just finally, and on a lighter note, I knew you were a skier. I didn't know you were a talented golfer, but apparently Steve King was telling me you haven't played golf in about 6 or 7 years since you've been at Cardiff, so he's taking you somewhere special in the summer, isn't he?
Yeah, I play golf maybe once every 2 years if we have an event or something, but I used to play a ton of golf as a kid every day. Went out, loved it, but yeah, we're gonna head up to Scotland, and hopefully as a post-playoff celebration.
Yep.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, I mean, how cool was it to have those guys in town again? I know everyone loved it. There was extra energy in the building as a result, and we're treated very, very well here, and I'm definitely extremely grateful for that.
A lot of energy in the building last weekend. Is going to be pumping on Saturday against the Steelers. Andrew, as ever, thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot.